Let us continue the lesson number 2, weathering. Before I start my class, I need to ask you a few questions. Yes, Zishan, if you are there, just tell me what is weathering.
Yes, Miss.
What is weathering? What is the meaning of weathering? What is the meaning of weathering?
When
If I say weathering of rocks, what does that mean?
the breaking
Breaking of rocks. Excellent, breaking of rocks. Dana, what is the cause of breaking of rocks? How do rocks break?
What?
How do rocks they break? How do they break? Dana is there, right? Yes, Dana, try to say me. How do rocks break? Is my voice blurred? Can you hear me or not, girls?
Yes, we can hear you.
So tell me, how do rocks break? Judy, you say me, how do rocks break? No idea? I told you, I gave you examples of wind, water, and I told you what happens by drawing something. Somebody has to give a try. How do rocks break? Miral, do you remember how do rocks break?
I remember the explanation. The rock and it rains,
When it rains, yes.
then it turns to
And
ice.
become, yes.
It expands, the rock expands.
Yes.
It's called ice wedging. The
Okay, so this expansion, because it expands, I told you an example of the water bottle, it expands in such way, and continuous expansion will lead to breaking of rocks. Then I said example of biological, that is how, tell me how it happens with trees. With trees, I told you, and one more example I gave you with animals. Other than Judy, can anyone participate and say me? How do trees break the rocks? Trees. No idea? Again, I drew a tree and I drew roots. Grade 7 never likes to participate, except 2 or 3 girls.
Welcome. Why is the Statue of Liberty green? Did you know that she wasn't always that color? It's true. In fact, when she was first built, her copper skin was as shiny as a brand new penny. Years of exposure to the air, rain, snow, and sun caused her to turn the green color that you see now. Let's learn more about how the same conditions can affect Earth's surface.
See, because of chemicals, a Statue of Liberty, which was golden copper in color, that is reddish brown in color, changed to green now because of snow and wind, air, rainwater. So these are the things they are affecting. Even I told you once before that Taj Mahal of India, one of the 7 wonders, it changed its color because of the gases coming out from the nearby industries. So this is how the conditions can affect these places or these statues or these wonders, but similarly, the Earth's surface is also affected by water, air, snow, glaciers.
The natural processes that change the Statue of Liberty's color are called weathering. There are two types of weathering, physical and chemical.
Seagull, they have shown you the picture of the tree here. That means in physical weathering, we have biological too. The roots, they extend and they break the rock underground. Again and again, I'm saying, and again, I will ask you questions. That because of these roots, the rocks, they break underground. And the chemicals, you know, the chemicals, when I say chemicals, chemicals can be acid rain, chemicals can be any other chemicals which are coming and treating with these rocks, and they make, and the rock breaks.
Click each term to hear more.
Wait a minute, girls.
In physical weathering, a rock is broken up into smaller pieces. All the smaller pieces have the same composition as the original rock. It's kind of like taking a piece of paper and ripping it apart. You end up with a lot of little pieces of paper, but they are all still paper, right?
That means they are still rocks, and those rocks still contain minerals. Even though if you rip the paper into very small pieces, the paper will remain paper. This is what happens in physical weathering. But chemical weathering, it changes. The rock itself changes. As I have shown you, if you burn the paper, do paper remain same? No, it become ash. Okay, so that is chemical weathering, when you are treating with some chemical or you burn them.
Chemical weathering is different from physical weathering because with chemical weathering, you end up with something different than what you started with. In chemical weathering, you might see a change in color. Sometimes minerals even dissolve right out of the rock. Can you think of some ways that rocks can break apart? Click each picture to find out how physical weathering happens.
Ice wedging is the same thing what I told you, that in the small spaces of rocks, the water, it goes inside, and during winter season, they freeze and they expand. It will take many years for it to break the rock. Just quickly see it, and today, almost like you're going to finish this lesson. I've told everything, but today I'm going to show you these videos so that the pictures make you understand more.
When it rains, a little bit of water can get into the cracks in a rock. If it gets very cold, that water can freeze. What do you think will happen to the rock when the water freezes?
It expands.
Well, you know that when water freezes, it expands. So that little bit of water becomes an even bigger wedge of ice. Eventually, it can cause the crack in the rock to open wider.
So what happens eventually? The crack in the rock, it opens, or it open wider. Next is
ice, wind, and water are all able to pick up and move sediments, and sometimes even large rocks. As they are moved, they are worn down. This is called abrasion. During abrasion, not only the particles...
What happens when there is heavy rainfall in Jeddah? What happens to the road? The roads are not the same, right? It make the roads they're not even like before because of abrasion, because of the pressure of the water. It removes some of the top layers.
Think about the layers on an onion. They can come off one layer at a time.
See, you know, like the onion layers, how you scrap it out one by one. Similarly, it takes years, and layer by layer it scraps off, and that is called as exfoliation.
Exfoliation in rocks works the same way. When rocks form deep inside Earth, they are under pressure from the weight of the rocks above them. As they get pushed up, the pressure on them becomes less. This release in pressure causes the outer part of the rock to expand. This expansion causes sheets of the rock to break away, like the layers of an onion. Sometimes plant roots grow in tiny cracks.
Later in higher grades, you will remember this as biological weathering. Right now, they just say physical and chemical, but biological comes under trees and animal. Where trees, the roots, they expand inside the rocks and they break the rocks. They are so powerful, the roots are so powerful that they even can make the rock wider and they break it.
Sometimes plant roots grow in tiny cracks in a rock. What do you think will happen as the plant grows bigger? You guessed it. The roots grow bigger too, and so will the crack in the rock. Have you ever seen a squirrel digging in the ground? You might think it is just hiding its acorns, but it's also making it easier for physical weathering to happen. That hole it just dug lets air and water get to rock below, causing weathering.
So the digging up by the animals also helps to break the rocks easily and more of the hole is exposed to air.
What type of weathering do you think changed the Statue of Liberty's color?
Tell me, what do you think? Is it acid precipitation or is it oxidation that in presence of air or dissolving? What do you think changed the color? Is it acid rain or is it oxidation that is, it is exposed to air and...
Oxidation.
I think so. It's chemicals. Yes.
If you think chemical weathering caused the color change, you're right.
See.
Chemical weathering is the kind of weathering that can change a rock's color. There are different types of chemical weathering. Click the pictures to learn more.
So we have oxidation where in presence of oxygen, we have acid precipitation that is acid rain and we have dissolving.
Oxygen in the air and water reacts with minerals in the rock and changes its color. The chemical composition of the rock has changed because of this reaction. This is called oxidation. Some types of pollution in the...
I will just say you girls, sometimes if you're continuously using something which is made of iron, it changes to rust, right? You see that rusty color. Why? Because of presence of oxygen and moisture. So that oxygen and water is nothing but that reaction with oxygen is called as oxidation and it leads to flakes. You can see those red flakes coming out.
Some types of pollution in the air can make rain and snow very acidic. These statues were originally built with arms. Over time, acid rain wore away the arms. Some minerals dissolve when they come into contact with water. These dissolved minerals are washed away by water. Because some minerals are now gone, the rock has changed in chemical composition. Chemical weathering can make caves. Click the...
This is very interesting, girls. They will show you how the chemical weathering, they make caves. You have
play button to hear more about chemical weathering.
They're going some for mystery, to solve some mystery, or they are going under some, adventure. And you see those caves undergrounds, okay, with very big holes, and you see how they are formed now.
Think about a time when it rained all day long. Where do you think all that water went? When it rains, some of the water runs off into streams and some of it soaks into the ground. Over time, the water that is soaked into the ground builds up. This water is called groundwater. Water in the ground can cause chemical weathering. Some types of rocks, such as limestone, may be dissolved by chemical weathering. This happens when the surface water or
Girls, do you know
groundwater
about
surrounding the
rocks?
rock
Did you ever
is
study
slightly
about rocks
acidic.
before? Did you ever study about rocks before, igneous and sedimentary? Ever study that the rocks are formed from the lava or volcano?
Yeah.
The shiny rocks, okay? So
Mm,
these rocks are not easy to break with this rainwater. But the other sedimentary rocks which are formed in the beaches, okay, they are compacted, cemented. Those rocks can easily be weathered by chemical weathering and they can form caves, especially they said the limestone.
If enough limestone is dissolved, underground caves can form. Match each agent of weathering with its correct image.
Okay, now it's your turn to let me know whether you understood or not. It's not my turn now. Okay, let me start with Noor. Noor, can you just say me where is abrasion? Which picture? Is it this one, the first one, second, third, or fourth? Which picture shows abrasion?
It's
This one, you know that this is about plants. Okay, anyways, if I say the others cannot answer, just tell me which one you think. Even if you have some doubt, you can tell me too. Come on, try abrasion. I told you abrasion is just like, okay,
it's the fourth one.
good. It's the fourth one. Next, Vishan,
Yes.
plant actions, which picture? Plant with plants,
The first one.
very good. Judy, ice wedging, where it
the
collects.
fifth one.
Yes, the fifth one, very good. Here, the oxidation changed its color. Oxidation. Dana, oxidation, where the rocks change its color. Where is it?
Sixth one,
Which one?
number 6.
The last one, very good. Okay, who's left now with me here? Miral?
Yes.
Animals. Which picture do you think they are digging? The second or the third?
Second.
This one, you think the animal is digging? It's wrong. See the hole, dear. See the hole? The animal is digging here. The animal, the like rat or mice or this is acid precipitation.
Well done! Ice wedging, abrasion, and plant and animal actions are all agents of physical weathering. Oxidation and acid precipitation are agents of chemical weathering.
Okay, girls. So do you know about the names of physical weathering and chemical weathering? If I make a column here and if I try to write physical weathering, you will say, teacher, it's abrasion. It is ice wedging, plant action, animals action. These all come under physical weathering. When talking about chemical, you have to say oxidation, and next acid, that is acid rain, acid precipitation. Okay? Is it clear, girls? Do you clearly understand the difference between physical weathering and chemical weathering now?
Yes.
Okay, let's go to next one.
How do you think this sinkhole formed? Type your answer.
How do you think?
Click OK when you're done.
What do you think, girls? How this hole formed? Is it because of chemical or physical? Any idea? Let me just write there and see.
How do you think this sinkhole formed?
Anything, girls?
Type your answer.
Animals action.
Click OK when you're done.
Physical.
It can be animals action. And what else? It cannot be vegetable because you see everything is green. And what else? Let me put OK and see.
In certain areas, groundwater flowing through rock can dissolve the rock away, leaving large holes underground or caves. The roof above the cave sometimes collapses under its own weight, forming a sinkhole. This collapse may be sudden or very gradual. This is how many cave entrances are formed. Well done! You've just completed the lesson on weathering. Let's look back on what you've learned. Just like with the Statue of Liberty, weathering can break down rock. Physical and chemical weathering are the two types of weathering. The different types of physical weathering, ice wedging, abrasion, exfoliation, plant action, and animal burrowing, do not change the rock. Physical weathering breaks down rocks mechanically. Acid precipitation, dissolving, and oxidation are all types of chemical weathering. Now that you've finished, if you wish, you can go back and review any part of the lesson again.
Did you understand the lesson well?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll be sending you the answers, inshallah. Take care.
Okay.
Bye.